Love Me Two Times, a classic hit from The Doors. We're in the studio with our guests, John Densmore and Ray Manzarek of The Doors. Your music has always been known for being pretty unconventional. Where did you draw most of your ideas from?
Good question, huh?
I'd say we were a melting pot, like
Oof.
America itself. You know, eclectic. I was into jazz, and I met Ray, and he had heard of Miles and John Coltrane and loved them. And I went, okay. And Robbie Krieger played flamenco guitar, and I think Spanish Caravan's on this program.
Yes,
you can
we'll
see
be
where
playing that
those
later.
roots come in. And Jim read every book ever written, so hence cerebral, wonderful, surrealistic lyrics. The blues. Ray loves the blues. He's from Chicago.
Grew up on the South Side.
Yeah, Jim loved the blues. Played John Lee Hooker records for me way back, and we wanted to do Crawling King Snake. So that's about it, huh?
Yeah. I think the Doors just drew from everything. Classical music. I studied classical. Our film background brought in the sense of drama that the Doors music has. And as John said, with the whole jazz and blues and flamenco and jug band music that Robbie was into and folk music, we just tried to combine everything we possibly could. Any form of music was valid. And I think that's a good lesson for any musician today, is just to try to do as much as you can possibly do. Always stretch yourself. Never just get complacent. Always try to do something new, something different. Stretch yourself out.
And it worked magic for you guys.
I guess so.
Well, let's make some classic calls here.
Good.
We're calling Susan Odland, who listens to Classic Call on WZLX in the Watertown, Boston area. And she has a question of either Ray or John.
Hello?
Hi, this is the Doors calling. We're waiting for interesting questions from Boston.
Okay, that means I'm supposed to go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, babe.
Okay, glad you called.
Nice to talk to you.
The question I wanted to ask you was, what do you feel that the Doors are missing now without Jim Morrison's presence in the band?
Well, Jim Morrison was quite a person, quite a charismatic person. Without Jim, the diamond is no longer a diamond. It has reduced itself to a triangle. We've lost the apex, the center point of the whole thing. I think America has lost a great poet. And just as we also lost a great blues singer in Janis Joplin and a great guitarist and songwriter in Jimi Hendrix, I think those three people from the 60s were magical, magnificent performers, artists, and the world is at a loss not to have them. However, we do have their music. That's the important thing. They're on the records, and you can hear their music on the radio, and you can buy the records, and you can still... Jim Morrison will always be alive as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, Susan, for your question. Thanks for being with us on Classic Call. Our next call going out to David, who listens to Classic Call on WZPS in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, good.
David.
Yeah.
Hey, David. John
Hello.
Densmore.
How you doing?
How y'all doing?
Oh, pretty good. Sunny and hot in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Ray Manzarek sitting next to me.
Same weather here in Los Angeles, man. It's hot.
Yeah, I'm grooving. And I got a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Well, first, my comment, growing up on music like the Beatles, I'm 22 years old, Paul McCartney, Elton John, Fleetwood Mac, and Led Zeppelin. I'm a drummer, and I used to play a lot of music to that song. But the question was, what famous musicians have played on your all's albums throughout the years solo?
Well, we had some famous jazz cats, you see. We had a sax player named Curtis Amy, who's a West Coast jazz saxophone player. He plays the saxophone solo at the end of Touch Me. And then we had another famous jazz cat out here. Leroy Vinegar is a stand-up bass player. He plays bass on Spanish Caravan.
Right, wait, I got it.
Yeah.
John Sebastian of the Lovin' Spoonful played harmonica on Roadhouse Blues. And Lonnie Mack played bass on Roadhouse Blues, who's sort of a legendary underground blues guitar player.
Yeah.
All right. I wrote that down.
All right, man.
The second question was, I know like y'all's music is labeled like classic rock, but when y'all first came out like in the 60s, what other term did y'all have for your type of music? For example, Led Zeppelin was heavy metal when they first came out. Who inspired you to do your music? And I'll listen.
At first, we were called the Kings of Orgasmic Rock. and then the kings of acid rock or something, right?
You see, we never called it anything, man. It was just Doors music as far as we were concerned, but the press invariably has to put a label on things, so I guess you could call us psychedelic, man. Just straight ahead, psychedelic.
Thank you, David.
All right, man.
Great questions, man. Let's listen to another great song from The Doors. Now, this one is still remembered as one of the best because of its creative music and escapist lyrics on Classic Call.